Vice Chair of the Chamber, representing Rich Asset Management on the Board of Directors. The first week of May is designated as National Tourism Week, and we like to continue recognizing our tourism economy all through the month by highlighting the economic impact of our tourism economy throughout New Jersey, and of course, the importance of Cape May County, with our featured speakers at our membership meeting each May. Our speakers today, Jeff Vasser, Executive Director of New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism, and Diane Wieland, Cape May County Director of Tourism, will give us an overview of how the tourism industry survived 2020 and a forecast of 2021. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to introduce both Jeff Vasser and Diane Wieland. Jeff Vasser is the Executive Director of New Jersey Division of Travel and Tourism. He has a broad range of experience in the nonprofit, hospitality, gaming, sports, and entertainment industry. His diverse background includes positions in hotel, restaurant, and gaming operations, financial management, convention center and arena management, sports and event production, and destination marketing. Jeff is very familiar with Cape May County. He grew up in Margate, graduated from Atlantic City High School, and returned to Atlantic City in 2002 to serve as president of the Atlantic City Convention and Visitors Authority for 11 years. Leaving Atlantic City in 2013, Jeff pursued professional opportunities in Miami and Central Pennsylvania, returning to New Jersey in 2018 for the position as Executive Director of New Jersey Tourism. Diane Wieland has worked as the Cape May County Department of Tourism for 46 years and served as the director since 1996. Under her direction, the department has expanded to include public information and Division of Culture and Heritage. The department has won numerous state and national tourism awards for innovative marketing and advertising programs. Wieland has served on many local and state tourism boards, including the Governor's Tourism Advisory Council, the Cape May County Chamber of Commerce, the NJ Destination Marketing Organization, and the New Jersey Tourism Industry Association. She is currently the chairperson of the Southern Shore Region Destination Marketing Organization. Wieland is recognized for her tourism insight throughout the region and has served as a speaker for many state, national, and international conferences. Please welcome Jeff and Diane. And Jeff, we'll turn it over to you first if you'd like to unmute yourself.
I am unmuted.
Great.
Okay, and hopefully everyone can see my screen. But first of all, thank you for having me at this annual event. I always enjoy being with my fellow Southern Jersey Shore people. And this is my first opportunity to share with you the state tourism numbers. I always like to give it to you guys first. Not that I'm biased, but it's always I always enjoy that. So I'm going to present the state results of our tourism numbers for 2020, as well as to discuss kind of what we were doing in the state tourism office during the pandemic, and then what we're going to be doing going forward over the next year and change. So with that said, let me go to my first slide. Ouch, I think is the word I'd like to use for 2020. We went from over 350,000 direct tourism jobs to 236,000 in 2020. That's a 31% decrease from last year. The big numbers, of course, looking at New Jersey visitation, we hit a record in 2019 of 116 million visitor trips, and we dropped down 27% to just under 85 million visitor trips in 2020. Looking on the left-hand side, we were fifth, the fifth largest employer in the state, and because of the way the pandemic has affected our industry in particular, we've dropped down to number 11. And our visitor spending dropped down from 46 billion down to 29 billion. That 29 billion, as you can see, represents a 37% decline from where we were last year, which was also a record number. On the left-hand side, you'll see how that number was spread out. And for the first time, I don't know if anybody remembers last year in 2019, we were thrilled that the food and beverage number was approaching the lodging number, which historically had always been the top piece of that pie. But this year, food and beverage exceeded lodging, and you can understand why. The day trippers that were coming in, other folks that really were not staying in our lodging, they still needed to eat, and so food and beverage exceeded that number. But certainly, we're hoping to move beyond that over the next couple of years. Looking directly at the tourism employment numbers. And I hope these numbers are consistent with what Diane sees in her research. But look at the impact of Cape May County in tourism. Look at 43% of your economy is related to tourism, the direct jobs, and that is the highest in the state. So it's certainly we're all working to make sure that Cape May County tourism stays strong, because it's very important to our statewide tourism economy. The 2020 tourism visitation, the good news is statewide, as I said, we were down about 27%, but Cape May County had one of the smallest declines, 19.7%. Not the smallest, but there were a lot of folks that were worse off. You could see Atlantic County was close to 30% down. The percentage of visitor spending, you can see a total $5.4 billion that came down to Cape May County, which reflected a 21% drop over last year. And talking about projections, you can see where we were in 2020. We dropped down 27%, as I mentioned. Our forecasters with tourism economics basically say that in 2023, hopefully we will return to 2019 levels. As everybody knows, we were issued a challenge by Governor Murphy to hit 150 million visitors by 2023. And of course, that's going to be well short. However, we were certainly well on our way, and hopefully we're going to climb back to those numbers as we get more tourism marketing dollars throughout the state. What were we doing during the pandemic? Well, last March, the first thing we wanted to do was, pull back on that, direct in-your-face marketing campaign that we had of, come to New Jersey. This is the time to be here. But it wasn't. So what we wanted to do was be a little more subtle. We wanted to keep New Jersey top of mind, and we wanted to keep our visitors engaged. We wanted to make sure that, when the time came, and back in March, we thought, maybe it would be a month. I mean, who knew it would be as long as it lasted? But we wanted to make sure that we maintain that level of awareness that New Jersey is a one-stop place to be, and we wanted to drive people to our website, and we called it New Jersey in the House. And the idea that we launched in April of 2020 was, as part of our website, to be able to engage our stakeholders, to engage our visitors, and basically try to keep the feel of New Jersey. We like to joke about the sights, the sounds, the smells of New Jersey online. So we did that through a variety of ways. We had a Spotify playlist. We had virtual backgrounds. We had games. We had a movie playlist. We had, a variety of things that you can do to be a part of, New Jersey tourism. And that expanded to what we called Taste New Jersey. And, we certainly saw, the impact that the pandemic had on our restaurants, our wineries and breweries. And we came up with a campaign that went out in print, outdoor, radio, television, to support our restaurants, wineries and breweries for takeout and delivery. And it went very well. As part of it also, we had virtual cooking classes. So we got chefs from all over the state to come up with their best dish, and we put that on our website. Cape May County was represented by Joey Montello, who has Joey M's in Wildwood. He actually was the #1 hit on our website, just by virtue of the fact that that Joey's a great character. We also started partnerships to support our local retailers. We partnered with United Airlines to create an app where each area of the state was able to, really promote the local retailers in their area. And United Airlines really helped us push that out because, they certainly have a great platform to be able to do that. Which brings me to where we are now. And right now we're coming towards the end of our fiscal 21 year. We still have roughly about $6 million that we're looking to spend through the balance of this year. And that will be on a recovery campaign. Right now, Dana Communications, which is our advertising agency, they're working to come up with a plan, and actually we're hoping to have it approved within the next few days. That's going to be a recovery campaign. That's going to go beyond your traditional, we're here for you, we're ready for you when you're ready to come back. I challenged Dana to come up with something that would break through that clutter, because we found that a lot of destinations are using that type of campaign, and we wanted to do something different. So we're going to be doing that through the balance of this calendar year, and then on January 1, be able to tap into the fiscal 22 numbers. For those of you that are not aware, the governor proposed a $17.6 million budget for us. And that's an increase from $9 million 2 years ago. So thanks to the Tourism Industry Association and other stakeholders, the dollars that are coming to New Jersey Travel and Tourism's budget is almost doubling. And that's an incredible opportunity for us to, really spread the message, to get into new markets and do a lot of different things. Now, people, of course, would ask me, okay, what are we going to do with all this additional money? Well, first and foremost, I wanted to give you some of the top line items of what we're going to be doing. Conferences and trade shows. We put another $40,000 in the preliminary budget to include new trade shows that, we're going to be able to go to, things that we, really couldn't go to before by virtue of our budget limitations. We're going to be talking to our DMO partners from around the state to find out what market segments, what geographic areas that they want to tap into that we weren't able to do before. So this is going to give us an opportunity to really, step out of our comfort zone and go into new markets. Additionally, we may look into taking over the consumer shows or partner with the New Jersey Tourism Industry Association. They've been talking to us about, us getting more involved, using our booth that we created last year to go to consumer shows as well. So that's on the in discussion. Our website, we had already allocated about $250,000 to a website redesign last year. We're looking to put in an additional $250,000 into our website, which would allow us to add more bells and whistles, such as an itinerary builder, such as mapping. We want to get into a really good meeting and convention site as well, because even though we don't sell meetings and conventions, a lot of meeting planners do come to our site looking for direction. So we want to have a good platform to be able to push to push those things out to our various destinations. Public relations, as many of you know, we initiated a robust PR campaign 2 years ago. We brought on Lou Hammond Group out of New York. We're putting an additional $500,000 into PR, which is going to focus on a couple of more media events. As many of you know, we had a big media event planned in New York City, focusing on the food and beverage and the restaurant capabilities of our great restaurateurs, wineries and breweries in New Jersey. Cape May Brewery was going to be a part of that. We're going to do several of those. We're going to do more FAM trips. We're looking at 4 or 5 more FAM trips that we're going to be able to finance and bring different tour operators, media through various portions of the state. We're going to create an episode of PBS's very successful Samantha Brown's Places to Love show. We're going to do radio remotes. We're going to do takeovers, such as a New Jersey Day at Grand Central Terminal in New York City. Things like that are going to make a real big impact in creating some free publicity for New Jersey. International. I've talked about this for the past couple of years. A missed opportunity for New Jersey for many years. We put $400,000 into this. We know that international is going to be another year at least before it comes back, but there's a lot of pre-work we can do to get it ready. We want to expand our initial plan. We want to, get all of the rep firms that we need to get in place to get ready to go. We're going to start in the first phase, with the UK and Ireland and Germany, Canada, of course. And then, beyond that, we'll, expand to other, destinations as well. Long-term, India, China are going to be big players for us. But, we want to start small. We want to make sure we can handle it. We want to make sure that we get all of our assets, ready to go. So a lot of ramp up time to go with that. Co-op programs. This is something also I've talked to many of my DMO partners about. We want to create a pool of funds for our partners to use where we can provide value in research, in advertising, in marketing programs, other initiatives where we can fund perhaps a one vendor who would be the preferred vendor and can offer all of these different things to you at prices that you might not be able to get on your own. So this is a very important thing for us to do, to be able to get photo libraries done for everybody, to be able to get more research for everybody that they wanted to do, but you couldn't necessarily afford it. More sponsorships. We have another $250,000 in that. Another $2.3 million we're proposing to put out to our initial grantees, to our DMO grantees and our co-op grantees. So another $2.3 million, and basically where that number came from, that's consistent with the amount of money we're adding. And then finally, $5.8 million we still have to put towards advertising. We're going to get into new markets. We're going to re-engage the travel trade. We're going to create a broadcast commercial. So a lot of things that Dana Communications is working on right now. This is how we're going to allocate it preliminarily. 46% to digital. That number expands if you get into the OTT component. Our core market is going to get half of it. Our core market, the Philly and New York City DMAs, secondarily getting into New York State, PA, Delaware, and then going into new markets, Ohio, Virginia, Maryland, Kentucky, and then seasonal. You can see that's fairly consistent with what we've been doing in the past. So we're excited about all of the new opportunities that we have. Being that we are a drive market, we all think, and I think everybody here shares this, we have an advantage over our competitors that are more reliant on air service. Our core market is, when I was in Atlantic City, used to say we're one tank of gas from a third of the nation's population. And that number's expanding because people are driving further rather than getting onto planes right now. So that plays to New Jersey's advantage and certainly to Cape May County's advantage. And that's my presentation. I appreciate the opportunity again to be able to share that with you. And I certainly look forward to hearing what Diane has to say. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Jeff. I just wanted to remind everyone too, we will take questions after Diane's presentation. So you can ask questions at that time by raising your hand, and then you can also use the chat feature, if you want to enter questions in that as we go along as well. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Diane. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy and Vicki, and thank you, Jeff, because all the things you're doing are definitely going to benefit Cape May County, and we really look forward to working more with the state and taking advantage of some of the new programs. I want to start out with, we all know 2020 was a really strange year, one we hope we never see again, and I have to wonder, whoever thought we would be celebrating that we only lost 21.1% of our revenue last year. But, that's something that we're anticipating to be coming at a higher rate. And, we're really grateful to our business community, our tourism organizations and leaders that helped move us and get us into a better position. As things started to open up, we started to see, people had that pent up desire to take vacations, and we were situated perfectly to take advantage of a large area of people, which, as Jeff had said, about 30 million people within a 300-mile radius. So start with our numbers for Cape May County. Jeff went over a lot of these, but I'll reinforce what we're looking at here. When we take a look at a 21.1% loss over a record 2019. It's going to take a few years to get back to that number. I think with tourism economics, they forecast that we would probably reach the pre-COVID levels in about 2023. They are looking at about a 27% increase this year. And if anyone has not checked out the state of New Jersey, visit nj.org and look at the tourism research. There's a lot of really good information that will help, hopefully, in some of your plans, marketing plans, and business plans. So it's important that we know this information statewide and then how it breaks down by county. But we're going to see in Cape May County, our visitors dropped from 10.2 million to 8.2. So we lost about 1 in 5 people who came to Cape May County in 2019 did not come in 2020. So we're going to take a look at how our marketing as we move forward will help to recoup some of that loss. When you look at statewide spending, they're looking at nearly a 23% surge to reach the numbers of 2021. So we're going to taking a look at the Cape May County numbers as they came across: lodging, food and beverage, retail, recreation, and transportation. Cape May County outpaced all other counties in food and beverage, retail, recreation, and rental income. And while that's not listed as one of the sectors, rental income is a very important factor for Cape May County, especially during the COVID time. 47% of our dwellings are considered second or rental homes, and they are bringing in a different group of people that come to support. Well, they're not supporting the lodging industry; they're supporting the other sectors. We saw an increase. Well, the only increase we saw this year was in state and local taxes. We generated $566.7 million in state and local taxes, and that breaks down to about $155 million a day generated by the tourism industry. Rental income exceeded $2.1 billion in 2020. Next. Okay, Bridget, can you go to the next? Brigitte, can you move? Yeah. Okay, here's a number that is something I keep track of and allows me to keep track during the year, and then when we get the numbers from the Division of Travel and Tourism, we kind of meld them together. And the occupancy tax collection rate data is released by the New Jersey Treasury. And while they're not exactly month to month, they're usually about 2 months behind. These are the hard numbers that let us take a look at occupancy tax, which actually measures overnight stays. Overnight stays are important for all of us because the average visitor who comes to Cape May County spends $374 a day, as an overnight visitor. If you take a look, we were sailing along beautifully in January and February. COVID hit in March. We saw a 65.6% decrease in March because of the shutdowns. In April, we were down 99%. And what I look at is, you can only go up after 99% decrease. So we started to see May, things were opening up. We have Memorial Day in May, and there were some restrictions lifted for occupancy. Then we started to see June and July. And while July showed a decrease of 22%, we still generated $2 million. So we had a strong July, and that helped solidify us and help us in decreasing the loss. August, we had a $3 million, we generated $3 million in occupancy tax, and was only a 7.5 decrease. Then we hit September, and we all thought, where is everybody? Where are they coming from? Why are they still here? We're used to seeing, people going back, closing up their summer homes, but we saw an increase of 17% in occupancy tax in September, and then we saw an increase in October. So when you take a look at, 2 of our months, they were record months that outpaced 2019, which was a record year. So, you got to take a look at how the second homeowner, the rentals, and also the those booking on online engines, how they impacted tourism in the area. Once again, while they're paying rentals to be here, or it's their second home, they still are here to support the other segments of the industry, which helps all of us. November, we saw a decrease. In December, we saw a decrease. In occupancy, we came out with a 23.7% decrease just in occupancy. And when we take a look at overall, the other sectors of the industry came together and helped us, where we lost basically at 21.1%. So those other industries, as they took a hit, they still helped us with the decline in the loss that we had. We were looking at a 30+% loss in revenue. So to take a look and see it at actually 21.1, again, who thought we'd be celebrating something like that? But here we are. So we're taking, so we'll continue to take a look and see how the occupancy tax numbers reflect, the actual picture across the board for tourism. Okay, the next. Okay, here is something that, again, we take a look at. We heard the record rentals through realtors. We heard record rentals through online bookings. In the past, we've never really been able to get our hands around the online booking impact. And right now, I'm working with a company that is able to get that information for me, and we were able to pick and choose the resorts we wanted to, take a look at and measure. When we look at Sea Isle City, for example, Sea Isle City's 2019 compared to 2020, they saw a 545% increase in the supply. So more people who normally don't rent during the fall and winter months were now renting, and they were going through these online booking engines like Airbnb, VRBO, etc. When you then take a look at the revenue generated, and again, I pick out Sea Isle City. In 2019, they generated $101 million, and then $101,000, and in 2020 they generated $4.7 million in revenue from the online booking. And you start to see, the different communities, Cape May, Wildwood, Sea Isle, Stone Harbor, and Avalon, all really, their percentages are, really large. But then take a look at Ocean City. So Ocean City did not experience the number of online bookings. However, they still saw second homeowner coming back and staying in their second home, many able to work remotely, and children to go to school virtually. So they saw an increase of people staying in their second homes, but not necessarily renting them through the online booking engines. So, just that alone was enough to, justify where we were seeing these increases in the grocery stores, in the retail shops, the restaurants, and for takeout and things like that, but, also for recreation. So these all help to support during the winter months, which is not something we usually see in Cape May County. And then above that, I had the report from the county clerk's office. The number of sales, and Rita Rothberg had told us about the huge increase in sales in Cape May County, home sales. And when you look at her numbers, we can see that it was one of the highest years on record, and that $54.5 million in receipts to the clerk's office on this sale of homes in Cape May County, the second highest since 2005. So when you take a look at that, those numbers, majority of those dollars stay within the county. The rest goes on to the state for other fees. But it certainly gives us an idea of the impact of the sales, which we've all heard about, but it's always good to get the numbers to really put that, perspective. When you look at the values, increased values of properties, and this information came from Star Ledger, it's, over the past 10 years, the average increase in housing is 15.4%. But take a look at where we're seeing these high increases. Stone Harbor home values in the past 10 years have gone up, nearly 60%. Ocean City, 32%, Strathmere, 60%. So you can take a look at some of these towns and how the property values have increased. You get a better idea of how real estate is in Cape May County, and basically how precious it is to own a home here or be able to purchase a home here. Okay. Jeff touched on this, the employment. We can't, talk enough about the number of employees that the tourism industry produces. We had a decline of 13.5%, which compared to other counties is not bad. We're certainly not, in the higher rate. We're in the lower end of that. The direct jobs generate 43% of total employment in the county, and combined with the indirect, it's nearly 60%. Cape May County is working. Vicki is certainly involved with a lot of this. Our planning department and economic development office, and finding ways to diversify and create more job opportunities in Cape May County. Not an easy job, because we're certainly not the kind of county that can support factories and large corporations. However, there are a lot of these clean industries. Technology is one, aviation is another. A lot of these types of jobs that can relocate in Cape May County, and we started to see prior to the COVID crisis was what they call a coastal shift, where people were realizing, businesses were realizing that they can still do the job and don't have to be commuting to the cities and urban areas, but to live in Cape May County and still be able to do their job. COVID even proved even more so that so many people were in the area working remotely that we started to see an increase in interest in coming here to relocate. At the airport, we had a new business come in that was from Buffalo, New York, and had a home down here, and now has rented space at the airport. It's a medical business that he can do his job from Cape May County. So as this coastal shift becomes more apparent, and certainly COVID has led the way to show people that it can be done, we'll start to see more jobs opening up. In addition to the work at the airport, we have County Commons, which was the old Kmart complex in Rio Grande, that now is about 90% complete. That is a multi-use government, state government, local government, and private businesses who are using and renting the space, and actually changing that whole area to become more of a hub for work, as well as retail, shopping, and entertainment. The next phase of this will be a movie and entertainment complex. That will be the final part of this project. So we're looking forward to it. We're seeing that it's bringing jobs. It's rehabilitating an area that was run down, and it's all falling in place with businesses that can operate in Cape May County without, factories and other issues. One of the things that we're still looking at and everybody's concerned with is employees. So that's the next phase. You get one thing done, another problem seems to pop up. We are seeing that about 40,000 jobs are in the recreation retail industries, and they are supported by visitor spending. When we take a look at these numbers from the Tourism Economic Survey, you'll start to see how in the state of New Jersey, how things are changing and how jobs are becoming more and more intertwined with tourism, recreation, retail, and how they support businesses in Cape May County. In the state, 60,000 jobs are indirectly supported by visitor activity. Where in Cape May County, we're looking at 31,000. Here's the number we always look for. Each household in New Jersey would need to be taxed an additional $1,200 per year to replace the traveler taxes received by the state. While this number is down from last year, it's still a pretty significant number that without tourism, we would all be paying more money in taxes. Okay, next one. When we take a look at Cape May County, we did very well compared to other destinations, and not only the other counties, but other destinations. When you take a look at, so what we kind of look at is our competition: the Ocean City, Maryland, the Rehoboth Beach, the Outer Banks. We look at how are they doing compared to what we're doing, and we fare very well. When you take a look at domestic travel spending in the U.S., it's down 37.1%. International travel spending is down 76.7%, and New Jersey spending is down 36.8%, and Cape May County is down 21.1%. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we are situated, and how fortunate we are. A big part of what saved us is because we have the beach and wide open spaces. If you look at some of the imagery that I've added there, that's what we were selling. Small crowds, wide open spaces, and ability for people to social distance and feel safe while they came on vacation. When you take a look again at the April occupancy tax, a 99% decline was devastating. But we saw that our September and October increases, and the June and July strong numbers, they helped us mitigate some of the losses that we had saw in the early part of the year. When we look at, we lost $1.45 billion to COVID in 2020. I mean, I guess if you say that number fast, it doesn't sound so bad, but we are, it took us back to several years, to 2013, to when we were in this $5.4 billion expenditure range. When you take a look and tear it down, we lost $3.9 million a day. So one in every $4 generated in 2019, we lost in 2020. Occupancy tax statewide fell 36.8% in December, or in 2020, and many of the destinations that relied heavily on international and business travel, along with events tourism, they continue to struggle. While the restrictions are being lifted, the capacity issues have been a huge problem for them, and it's just been difficult for them to get back to where they were pre-2019. What we can look at is the 4 beach counties: Atlantic, Cape May, Ocean, and Monmouth offered, the open outdoor activities that appealed to an audience that needed to get away from the quarantining. The coastal tourism region of New Jersey will most likely be the first to see or get back on the road to recovery. I think 2021, we're anticipating a great year. We're hearing a lot of good results from our marketing, from our businesses. So we're going to see us continue to move forward in 2021, and then hopefully for recovery in by 2023. Occupancy tax collection, which I said was part of the measuring the overnight stays. That's $374 per day per person spent throughout the county on food and beverage, retail, recreation, and transportation. All very important to keep that overnight visitor here, to keep them longer, and to make sure that we're giving them enough to do. One of our best partners that we have is that in our survey that we have conducted, 19% of our visitors in 2020 went to Atlantic City for one day. And that's an important number for us, because if we can give them more to do, they're going to stay longer. If they're staying overnight in Cape May County and visiting Atlantic County or Cumberland County, it expands their itinerary and gives them, hopefully it gives us extra stays in Cape May County. I want to point out that in 2021, we received a cooperating marketing grant from Division of Travel and Tourism. Thank you, Jeff, and everyone related to that. That grant was to promote fall and winter, which we did. The amount with the match was $25,000, and that really helped reinforce our fall and winter campaign, which we just want to make people know that there's plenty still to do after the summer, and we've been very successful with the fall and winter campaign. We saw an 11% increase in winter visitors in 2019. I don't have the number for 2020, but that's important. We started that winter campaign, which we call the Warm and Cozy campaign, and that year, 3 years ago, and that was the year the Delaware Bay froze over and you could walk out to the sunken ship. A little hard to push warm and cozy when the Delaware Bay freezes, but we eliminated those images and continued on with the great opportunities in restaurants and B&Bs and cozy fires and wineries and things like that. And we saw that people were willing to come back and spend money and stay over in Cape May County in the winter. Okay. We have preliminary results from our survey. We send it out every year. Right now, looking at it, we had about a 5% return rate. So I'm not going to say that these, I'm going to call these trends, trends for 2020. A lot of our questions were, to get a full idea, the measure of COVID-19. We all have ideas and understand, some of the issues that COVID created, but when we asked questions, we had that 56% of our came to Cape May County, and 44% said they did not. Normally, when we do that survey, we say, did you come? Our numbers are usually in the high 70, 80%. And a lot of times I think, well, because we're asking the same people who asked us for information, so there was a good chance we already knew they were going to come. But this year it tells you, they may have asked for information and thought they were coming, but they did. Only 56% of them did. 58% cited COVID as the reason, and 40% said the travel ban kept them from coming. 4% just indicated, other for the reasons. So, they wanted to come. Their reasons they didn't come, and we're finding that a lot of them, well, it was an open-end question. We're still planning to come back in 2021. When we take a look at who is our visitor, we always try to figure out, how do we best market, who do we target, what is our visitor, and what has changed in 2020, and we'd have to take a better and a hard look at this, is 53% of the people who came in 2020 came as a couple, which is highly unusual because normally they're families, a higher level of families. And 47% traveled with 3 or more, or with their families. So we will take a look at this and see how we compare it to maybe next year. But my fear, is that people did not want to come with families during the COVID time. When we look, 85% of our visitors were return visitors and 15% were first-time visitors. We like first-time visitors. We hope we can make them return visitors, but we'll continue to reach out to them and target them to increase awareness and come back. Why 15%? I think because people had canceled vacations, maybe cruises or travels overseas, or else they were looking for someplace close to home that they could, quickly and easily drive to. 40% of our visitors stayed 6 nights or longer, which is a pretty good number, and it really it bucks the trend where people were normally staying, 3 to 4 days. And we saw 60% stayed 5 nights or less. I can further break that down when I get more of the data in, but I thought that was an interesting ratio and a good thing to find that 40% stayed 6 nights or longer. I can say that a lot of that is because rentals are for 1 week and usually not a few days, where hotels, motels, B&Bs can have 2 and 3 day stays. One of the things that we looked at, and we knew that top attractions, 70% of the people said it came for the beach. 69% said shopping. And one of the things about our shopping, and for years, we don't have any malls, we don't have any big box shopping centers or shop stores. People want that boutique shopping, and that's what we can offer them. So that's of high interest. 63% said restaurants. Usually restaurants are after beach, but because of the restrictions, I can understand the restaurants went down a little bit. 56% said they came for the boardwalk, and 31% said eco-nature-based activities, which makes sense because they're looking for things to do outside rather than any inside activities, or the fact that a lot of the inside activities were closed, such as our museums and indoor theater and things like that. Well, when we asked our residents, this is the question that I always ask: how do they prefer to get their vacation information? 67% said this year, 2020, that they wanted to get direct mail. So when we hear about, oh, nobody's getting the mail, we're just going to do digital, we're going to do, emails and things like that, you have to take a look at our customer base and, give them the information in the format they want it. And 67% said direct mail. 48% said internet and website. So always good to send people to, your visitors to your website and keep your website active. 27% said email, direct emails. 26% said they like get their information from family and friends, and 10% said social media. And one of the, while we're seeing social media growing, my opinion on this and, my observation is that most of our visitors and those who respond to our emails and call for information are in an older age group. I would say more close to the baby boomers, and they still like to get their information in their hand, and they're not as savvy with social media. We started to target our millennial base to get them to respond, but basically they don't really respond to surveys, so it makes it difficult. Last year, actually 2019, through a cooperative marketing grant with the Division of Travel and Tourism, we worked with Dana Communications to take our data, 5 years of our research from the annual survey, and to be able to cross-tab the data, the information, and be able to come out with, the age group, whether they're millennials, whether they're the young families, whether they're baby boomers, and then to be able to cross tab and drill down to find out what do they like to do, how do they like to get their information, and how do we best reach them. So I think that we were able to reach the millennials a little better this year. Even though it was an off year, it was a good opportunity for us to try and use this new research. The next is 54% of our visitors spent more than $1,500. And 46% spent under $1,500. 26% spent between $1,500 and $2,000 while on a vacation. So it's always good to get that data to see, how much are they spending? What are they, willing to pay for while they're on vacation? And that's, gives us a good idea. And through that question, we've been able to determine how much they spend per day. Some of the important factors that the respondent said, that why did they choose the Jersey Cape? 78% said safety and security. And that is one of the top reasons why anybody chooses a vacation destination. They want to feel that they and their family are safe while on vacation. 75% said relaxation. That's what we're all about. We're offering, get away, relax. Even though people are combining and doing this business while they're on vacation, they're still saying that relaxation is one of the top reasons. 54% said because it's quiet. They want to be quiet and it's peaceful, and they don't want the crowds. They just want to sit back and enjoy, if it's a sunset or the beach or whatever. So that's an important thing. Family oriented, 25%. No, 46% said it's family oriented. 25% the outdoor activity options, and 11% said it's romantic. and 12% said it's close to home. So those are, numbers we can compare year to year. And I think this year was a little bit different. And, romance used to be one of the top three, but we're seeing that that's taken, a different level during the COVID times, that they're more interested in getting away, relaxing, and getting outdoors. So. One of the things we had to do early in the game, we closed our office March 19th. Before I left the office that day, I had already put a lot of my advertising that was already in place. It was March, it was in place, on hold. And within a few days, we had regrouped and came up with a new marketing strategy. We knew we had to be flexible to salvage the season and to keep the Jersey Cape in front of new and return visitors. We started with that, we're here waiting for you. Brighter days are ahead. We had a lot of different messages. And the important part about being flexible is we had to watch, we had to listen to what was happening, what was opening, and how we could get directed our message and directed to the visitors. We have a database of over 7,000 email addresses. These are people who have requested information or asked to be, to opt into our mailing list, and we were continually sending them information without being too aggressive, just weekly, every 10 days, keeping them updated on what we're doing and the message. Our message was basically open spaces, small groups of people, iconic images, something that would keep them engaged and to let them know that we're here and we have a great vacation option waiting for them. We also featured the county. We had a two-pronged marketing effort. One was the Safely Together, and the Safely Together was a individual campaign that we were able to meld in with our campaign, but this went out to let people know what the guidelines were, what we expected of people who came here, what we expected of our residents. It was all about, wearing the mask, staying 6 feet apart, the social distancing. And that was, a separate, but we ran it together. So people knew when they got here, if they're planning to be here, that, we were providing a safe environment, that we were following all the CDC guidelines as far as sanitizing and safety, and we were also expecting them to abide by the guidelines. So that kind of was, the awareness that we're here waiting for you, and then the informational side of it that says, this is what we expect, this is what you're going to get when you come here. We're going to follow, we're taking this very seriously, and we want you to know that if and when it's time to come and you make your decision, you're going to be safe. So that really was a good program that kept us in front of people, kept our visitors aware of what was happening, and through social media, we kept them engaged. And we had a lot of questions and a lot of concerns, and we're able to ease people's minds. And with that came this huge growth in visitors who wanted to go camping. And camping allowed them to rent their own or bring their own RV, and be able to control their environment and still be able to get out and do vacation things. So we saw, while we were concerned about the Canadian market and the fact that the border was closed, we saw an uptick in campers. The campgrounds were packed and filled with people who were definitely making sure that they were following the guidelines and they felt safe. Okay. Want to change? Okay. As we move forward, and that's one of the things that we're doing right now, our messaging. Well, we were looking at our messaging that has been for a long time. Kind of the headline is "Escape to the Jersey Cape." Escape was never more important as a message than during COVID. The escape from the quarantine, escape from some of the restrictions that people were under, and we've added a tagline: exciting places and open spaces. And they were just kind of throwing that out there. There's just a lot of great things to do, and they still in the open spaces. So for those who continue to be concerned, there's plenty of options for social distancing. as the campaign is evolving and as restrictions are changed, we are trying to make sure that we can be flexible enough to make sure that, we continue to follow the guidelines and make sure that our customers are engaged. The other thing that we have is many of our signature events have been canceled because of the capacity issues. So we are looking to, in all our advertising is to, our hook right now is to show the outdoor activities and what they can do. Another part of that is our social media. As some of these signature events are coming back online, maybe not in the sizes that they were, but still having some events, we're going to be able to continue to market those events as a reason for people to come. So many of our events, annual events, people just plan their whole vacation around them, and then them being canceled, we want to still make sure still come. You might be able to participate in some machination of the event, but there's still plenty of other things to do. We'll continue to adapt to the changes in the messaging whenever we can. Digital and social media will remain a big part of our campaign, along with print, radio, digital, and TV. We give our visitors the information in the format they prefer. Okay, next one. I just, kind of throwing out there what we're doing and some of the information with our social media campaign. We're just continuing to see this increase in people, adults, because while they were home, they were spending more time on social media, Facebook, and things like that. We were there trying to, let them know Cape May County is still, viable vacation, and we're going to be here, and when you're ready, and you'll be able to have a safe vacation. We increased our presence, and we saw that not only did our we increased our presence, but we saw immediately when the click-through rate from our digital advertising went up 36.8% since March. And Facebook engagement, I didn't know, could be a number, 1.5 thousand % increase. And in Facebook and Instagram is up 100% from March. So these are all things that, we tied into following the research, which is so important to be able to know what the trends are and how do we fit. So, our campaign will continue to, I guess, morph, if you want to call it that, to fit in with the changes in what's happening. One thing about the Canadian market, something that's always been a part of what we do, we're hearing now that potentially the border will open June 21st. However, Prime Minister Trudeau said that he would like to see 75% of the residents vaccinated before the border opens. As of May 17, 3.8% were fully vaccinated and 46.2% had received one dose. So I'm not sure how June 1 will happen, but we'll continue to have a presence in Canada when they're ready. We think they're going to come back in force, but we're still reaching out we've kind of tightened our marketing radius to a 250-mile marketing group to audience to encourage that drive-through market. So that's what we did. That's what we're doing now. And if you have any questions, I'm sure there's a lot of information here, and it will be available for the Chamber website.
Thanks, Diane. Now we'd like to take a couple minutes. If anyone has any questions, I do see that there are some in the chat. So we can address those first. And then if anyone else has any questions, if you'd like to raise your hand and we'll call on you. The first question was from Susan Adelazie Schmidt. She wanted to know if anyone had any information as to when the New Jersey mask restrictions will be lifted and, if it'll be before Memorial Day. So Jeff or Diane, I don't know if you have any information on that.
I don't. We just, listen to what the governor has to say every day. We're not involved in the meetings. But to be honest, I don't anticipate, a full retreat from masks by Memorial Day, but that's just my guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any information either.
Thank you. The next two questions are from Rona Bronson, and the first one is the state forecast not to return to 2019 visitation levels until 2023 conservative, and what factors are leading the state to feel that we would not recover as early as 2022, and what is the current forecast for 2021?
Okay. Yes, first of all, our research is conservative, and we certainly encourage our research to do that. However, having said that, it's not. I don't think we can expect that everything is going to return to normal this year. I mean, I think it goes by market segment. I think Cape May County is going to recover much quicker than most others because most of your visitors are leisure. As Diane laid out, you have the benefit of open space and social distancing and outdoors, and those are what people are looking for and are going to feel comfortable. On the other extreme, you have the meetings and conventions market, which plays a big part in our visitor base, especially up in North Jersey, in Jersey City and the Meadowlands, and of course in Atlantic City with the convention center as well. Convention center planning, is done in years, not in weeks. So it's going to be a while for that to recover. So if you look at those two extremes, it's going to be a while, but I think Cape May County is poised to do that. As far as the individual year projections, take a look, on our website. The slides that I put out there with the projections for spending and for visitation are on our website and available for anybody to take a look at.
Thanks, Jeff. And then Rona's other question for Diane, do we have age data? For example, do they like direct mail because they're skewing older?
What was that question? I kind of froze there.
Do you have any data on ages for the surveys that you had done? You had mentioned that
Yes.
People
Yes.
prefer direct mail. Is that because they're older?
Yes. We have some data that we were able to get through that cross tabulation, and also, like you say, as more responses come into ours, we'll be able to better define. Like you say, I'm kind of making this report is more as the trends, and we'll find out more when we have a higher percentage of returns. But yes, we do have, we do know that the number of visitors in that, like say, baby boomer families, that 35 to 46, and then the millennials, we do have a breakdown on the number of visitors and what they're interested in, and I can get that for her.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions for Jeff or Diane? No.
I have a question, Amy, I'd like to put out there, and this just may be, not based on any research or data, but just, what do you think kind of thing. We've seen, especially in restaurants, breweries, wineries, some lifting of some regulations and things like that allow these businesses to operate differently because of COVID. And so do you think that there might be just a different trend in how businesses are able to operate that we've seen, have been successful, has not caused problems, but has really allowed businesses to increase their business sales? We've seen expanded outdoor seating. We've seen delivery options. We've seen, with wineries and breweries, some regulations lifted on them. So do you think that we might see some lifting of what were, regulatory issues prior to COVID just become part of normal business practice as we move forward, that we've seen that businesses can operate without problems going forward?
I certainly do. I think people have been creative in the way that they've compensated for the loss of what their traditional business model has been. And I think it expands beyond, just what we're doing in Cape May County. I mean, look at, how, businesses in the center cities, work with, there's going to be a change in the way that people go back to their offices. So it's going to be everywhere. And the people that have been creative in how they're able to compensate, I think are going to do much better. But yeah, I think to use that overused term, the new normal, I think it in many ways has spurned some new innovations, and that will carry for sure.
I agree with that. I just see in the restaurant industry alone, we're seeing businesses that are only doing takeout. I mean, we didn't really see that before as much, but we're not just talking about sandwich shops or pizza shops. We're talking about, full course dinners that are now part of the takeout scene that people can take back to their hotel and all that. I also think that the open beverage has made a difference for people who are eating outside. I think that each of the towns have done an incredible job with providing, better and more outside eating, and it's working. So once things start to get back and they have full capacity inside and outside, it's just going to give them that option to, be able to serve more people, make more money, and, to enhance actually the offerings we have in the tourism industry.
Great, thank you. Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeff and Diane, for your time today. We really appreciate it. Before we move on to our reports, I wanted to take a moment to highlight the chamber building project. Many of you probably saw the announcement in our daily news update or on social media, but we feel a project this big and important deserves a little time on our agenda today. With that, Brigitte is going to share some photos that were also shared in the announcements. Take a look at those. This is the exterior of the building. And some ideas of how the rooms will look like once they're completed. This isn't exact, it's just, again, some ideas to have an idea of what the spaces will look like, and the new floor plan as well. Same with, I guess this is the first floor, Brigitte, right? Yes.
Right. These are just, conceptual ideas of, certainly not, the furnishings that would be in the building, but just conceptual ideas. And that, of course, is very small, but would be, just the new layout of the first floor there you would see in the graphic.
Great. So the renovation project is expected to take about 6 months, depending on construction supplies. And then future updates will include project supporters and additional visuals of how the work is progressing. And I know there was a few videos that were also shared in that announcement, so you could see some of the progress. Right now everything is the building is ripped down to the studs. So we'll share more of that as we progress. And also just wanted to note that all aspects of our chamber programs and services will continue to operate, just as they have during the COVID shutdown. So we're really excited about this project finally being able to move forward with it. At this time, I'd like to turn over to John, if you wanted to give your marketing and membership report. Oh, I think you're on mute. There you go.
The old unmute. Thank you again. Good afternoon, everybody. We do have a few new members we want to introduce you to. First, we have Intrax Work Travel, the End of the Road Theater, Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Avalon Estate Liquidators, and Thomas Boyd Communications. So welcome those new members. Real quick on the marketing side, we're doing a lot of the things that you heard Jeff and Diane speak about today at one level or another. And we're really happy to be able to supplement the efforts of county tourism and state tourism. So we're happy to supplement those efforts. And we are seeing the demand for print and direct mail at those levels that were spoke of. So the Jersey Cape Vacation Guide is going out all the time. We've distributed about 30,000 already for this year, and more are going out every single day. I didn't see a membership committee report on the agenda. I just wanted to mention that the committee had put forward to the board to create a solopreneur tier of membership. You're not sure what a solopreneur is. It's kind of defined as one who works and runs their business alone. We felt that a solopreneur tiered membership opportunity for solopreneurs was needed, and that was approved and is now part of the Chamber's membership tier. So if you do know anyone that's a solopreneur, it might be a great time to refer them to the Chamber for all the great benefits. And then I'll turn it back to you, Amy.
Thanks, John.
Welcome.
And with that, I'll turn it over to Vicki to give a couple reports.
Thank you, Amy. Yes, I just wanted to let everybody know that we're really excited to see a lot of the mandates lifted and be able to return to in-person meetings. Hopefully, we'll soon be back to our membership meetings being in person, but I want to tell you about some things coming up. First of all, we're going to have a networking event in person on Monday, June 21st. That's the first day of summer. So we will get back to having our kickoff the summer season on June 21st at Avalon Lakes. You can pre-register for that. We do ask that you do pre-register because we will have to adhere to capacity limits. So go ahead and pre-register for that. That's sponsored by Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union. So thanks so much for that. We have a couple of virtual seminars coming up on May 25th, June 16th, and July 20th. We're doing Grow with Google. So you want to check that out. On June 3rd, Allegra Marketing Print and Mail is doing a Supercharge Your Direct Mail webinar. So thank you, Allegra, for not just presenting that, but also sponsoring that webinar. And then getting into some of our regular programming again, and these will be in-person events on Thursday, September, I have to get my calendar here, September, Thursday, September 9th, the Women in Business Conference at the Flanders Hotel. Really thrilled to have that on the calendar. There's opportunities to sponsor as always. We're putting together a fantastic program. So be sure and check into that. On Tuesday, September 21st, the Foundation for Education Golf Tournament, which will be at the Shores Golf Club. And on Tuesday, September 29th, the Business at the Beach Expo at the Wildwoods Convention Center, again, back in person. So check out CapeMayCountyChamber.com under the events tab for information on all of those events. You'll want to get your sponsorship in place, get registered, and that is it for my report, Amy. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Vicki. Do any members have any announcements before we adjourn? No? Okay, great. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you again, Jeff and Diane, and looking forward to a great summer and to seeing all of you in person very soon. So thank you.